Everything is now taking extra long. I'm in the browser, which I dislike because it's really a challenge. But
That's weird. You can't click the link.
what's that?
It's weird. You can't just click the link.
It's I had to go through several different permissions that normally I don't have to utilize. I don't know what happened. It admitted me twice, and I had to kick my other self out. It's a brand new world for me. Person would be Cornelia Cortez. Mr. Cortez, can you unmute?
All righty.
Thank you. We've been trying to see if you are getting a charge. You did enter a plea of no contest on driver's license charge. And I'm showing maybe that it's something that you would need to do community service instead of payment. But you're on time for court. However, it's been since October. Give me just a moment. I want to see if you're qualified for any dismissal option, and I need to check something. Is that 60
Okay.
or 90 days? Yes. Do you have the license?
No, no, ma'am.
Okay.
But I've been working on it. I've got the online course.
Okay.
I just got to go get the driving.
Do you mean the driving test, or do you mean some like a course driving?
The course.
Okay. How long do you think it would take you to get a driver's license?
I'll probably hear a week.
Okay. Sorry. Have you made an appointment with DPS yet?
Yes.
Okay. When is that appointment?
I had one, and it was back in December.
Okay.
In Waco, and I didn't make it.
Okay.
I called reschedule it.
Okay. Did you get a rescheduled time?
No, not yet.
Okay. I can extend you a month. We sort of need to get it soon. The idea would be maybe that you could do some sort of deferral. If I
Okay.
enter a conviction or you get any more offenses, it's the risk is that you get some kind of suspension that keeps you from getting the license. So the answer is really get the license and come back, maybe do a deferral, and you're on time for court.
Okay.
We can keep that option open. I'm just going to make a note about that. And then, the focus should be don't reoffend and get the DL and come back ready to go. Why don't I say that I'm extending you to 221? I'm going to need a signature on that, though. Can you come by today and sign it?
Okay.
What time can you come by the court just to swing by the clerk's desk and make a signature?
Probably here within an hour.
Okay. We'll look for you around 10:30 or so. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll see you then. Okay. So moving forward, and I had somebody come in. Well, it went away. Okay. Woo, I just don't like the way this interface is today. Isaac, if y'all can unmute.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning. How are you, Lennox?
I'm doing good.
Okay. And are you mom?
Yes, I am.
My mom. So this actually is a possession of tobacco by a minor. The fines and costs, if you paid it, are $181. However, it's one of the things that we can look at doing teen court with and
Okay.
allowing them for a dismissal. I did receive, before I do that, before we even move into that possibility, I just want to review the papers that we sent. Y'all sent them back with signatures, and I do appreciate you getting those to me. I'm just going to hit the highlights on those and make sure there aren't questions before we move into the teen court process. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So possession of tobacco by a minor is the charge. And then there was a list of rights. Lennox, your name is Lennox, right?
Yes.
And your mom, tell me your name, please.
Elia Almazan.
And your first name again?
Elia
And the last name?
Almazan.
Like Amazon?
No, ALMAZAN.
Okay. Almasan. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So that you know those rights that you have, did you have any questions about those rights? That they're essentially the ones you hear in like the media, the right to remain silent, not to make a statement. Statements can be used against you. Those are your rights. I know you read them. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay. The next form was a form that just reviewed your address. I'm not going to read your address out over the internet. That would be unwise. It begins with 814. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next one just tells you that until we're done with this case, you have a duty to keep your address current. Okay.
Okay.
The next one just told you that if you don't finish your court order that I make today, there's an ongoing duty to get it done, and I can file an additional charge if you don't get it done. It's a contempt charge. And I don't usually have to do that, but I definitely make sure that you know that's something that can happen. That's my way of also letting you know you just really need to do what you're ordered to do. And if there are problems, you need to reach out to us, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And then the last one tells you, and it was a lot of little legal wording, but I'm required to give you that wording specifically. And it just tells you on this type of charge, for example, if you're convicted, you can have it removed from your record once you've finished your court order. It also tells you that you're eligible for an expunction the moment you finish your court order. So the next thing I want to tell you is that with possession of tobacco by a minor, there are fines and costs, but there is an additional penalty under the law, which is that you're required to do a tobacco class, an intervention in tobacco class. And in teen court, in fact, I would do that too. So with teen court, the difference is instead of paying $181 and doing the class and getting a conviction, you would pay $20 and do the class and get a dismissal. So it's actually better.
Yes, we could do that.
Yeah. There's a $20 fee. Can we get that fee paid today?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to come by the court to do that, and it needs to be cash. And then the only thing I'm really looking for, Lennox, is, your tobacco class. And that's going to be actually something you can do online, and it's available. We'll give you a list of availability classes, and the due date is going to be February 21st. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
so
he
has to do his class before February 21st.
Complete it and turn in a certificate of completion to the court.
Okay.
And then I sign a dismissal and I waive the $181.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the reason being, the obvious reason is just getting that intervention piece with tobacco early in your life can really help. My mother, actually, Lennox, my mother began smoking at 13, and she died, and smoking complicated and caused her death to be premature. And so I just want to tell you that, you don't have to go that direction. But smoking really is a serious deal, and it doesn't feel serious at first because at first it doesn't do a lot of damage, but eventually it does. And so getting that intervention now, that's really important, and maybe thinking about it. It's a very difficult illness or disease. Addiction, I would say. My mother did quit, but the effects cascaded in her later life. And so she quit, and that was good because other things, it helped. But had she not, stayed a smoker for most of her life, I don't think she would have died the way she did. So I just want to encourage you. I'm not trying to overshare, but I want to encourage you to really not blow off the class. You could sit there and get it done and not take it seriously. And I understand that, but it would be so much better if you focused on it and really took the news in and thought about it, so that it doesn't become a problem. I don't think it is a problem yet for you, but eventually it could be. So I'll look forward to seeing that you've completed it. Okay. But I'm sorry, what time are y'all going to swing by the court today? I forgot.
What time is it?
Right now it's 9:40.
I could be there right after this meeting.
Okay. We'll look for y'all around 10 or so.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Williams, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me just one moment. I'm sorry. I forgot to include that with Isaac. Okay. And so, okay. So I had reviewed everything, and let me just tell you where I am. We have balances, and then we've had a payment plan. It was pretty steep. It was like $100 a month. And I have a kind of oldish, no, not super old, but an oldish payment application where you were working as a traveling CNA for care. Are you still in that position?
I'm a traveling CNA, but not for care. It's for Shift Key now. It's a different agency.
Okay. There's just kind of an ongoing duty to keep that up to date, and we haven't had it updated since March of last year. We sent you a new one to fill out on the 11th of January, but I don't have it back. And I'm not really sure what it is that you're trying to do. The pay show was prior to warrant, I send a notice out and say, hey, we've got a court order. You're not following it. Please talk to me about it. And so that's what this meeting is about. I don't mind making an adjustment to the payment. It may need to be lowered. It may need to be dealt with differently, but I don't know any of that because I need that up-to-date income information. So what would be really helpful for me is for you to fill it out so that I know what to do.
Well, right now I couldn't fill out the paper because I don't have a car. My car is totaled. That's why I couldn't get nowhere to print that paper out to fill it out to you.
Okay.
So right now I'm not working.
Okay.
I'm on housing, so my bills are good. But I mean, is it any other, because it's a lot of tickets. I mean, my last payment I made, I think, was in July, and it was like for like 500. I was trying then, but it's just a lot of, it's a lot. So I don't know. It's a lot of money. And right now I'm in a bind already. Christmas came around, my car got totaled. So it's just like, I kind of just, I'm at a standstill because I'm going through a lot.
Okay. I'm taking notes. Well, the car was totaled. Is that what you're saying? The car was totaled?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the Nissan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I don't know what's going on with the payment on that, but hopefully that was paid off. I hope you're not struggling with that. But I can definitely change it to a community service order based on the information you just gave me. And where you're living now, I don't want to give your address out, but I had you at a 617 address.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
that's still the address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I can actually shift to community service. And what I'll tell you about that one is that there are a few places that are not too far away from where you are. And
Okay.
it does come to 47 hours. That would complete your sentence instead of payment. And so I can change that to community service. Now, I'm going to need you to get over to the court, and it would be helpful to get an updated, update the payment application on the one we have. You can just, update it here. Sorry, I'm looking for my paperclip. And then you would pick up your packet, which is like all the places where you can go that are approved, and also a timesheet to keep track of your hours. We can print that here for you. And we're not actually terribly far from you. I just need to ask you to get here sometime today. So, what time can we look for you today?
I can call my sister, see if she can give me a ride. She takes forever, so I'll just say 11 at the latest. But if not before, I'll try to be before then. But just 11 p.m. a.m. at the latest.
I'll just put by noon. Okay, that'll
It's
work. So I'm just to
so
recap.
the you said it's 47 hours, and that what does that do if I complete the whole 47? It knocks out all the tickets or what?
It no, the tickets have been convicted in the past already, but it will zero out your balance due, and the due date is March 21st.
To complete the community service.
Right, the community service is 47 hours, due March 21st. And when you get here, that will all be in written down form.
Okay.
Okay.
And I also have a ticket for that. Um, that was my.
So
I
there's
heard.
three tickets that we have here, and one is June 21st of 2017, an address change charge. The balance is 190.17. Then there's a no insurance charge from 2021, and the balance is 445.30. And then there is a balance of 311 on a theft charge from September, and that's already been part of your payment plan, and we're shifting that into a community service approach. And so all of that total together is $946.47 that still remains that hasn't been paid. And that would turn into community service of 47 hours due March 21st. Does that make more sense?
Kinda. So, like you said, it'll waive my balance out, but it means it just pushed me back forward, and I just start back paying on that 900.
No, I said the opposite. What I said is instead of payment, you would be doing community service and that would zero out your balance.
Okay, and then but the theft under a
You
hundred ticket, would that be on my record?
it already is.
Huh?
You you entered a plea. Let me see when that plea got entered. When did that plea get entered? The theft.
October 26th.
Back in October, you entered a plea of no contest, and that was part of your payment plan.
Right, but if it's a ticket, I don't understand that.
Ticket is a charge. Like I said at the beginning, a ticket is a charge, it's an accusation. And you entered a plea, and I accepted your plea and entered a conviction and ordered a payment plan. And you've had trouble making that payment plan work. And so what we're doing today is reviewing that payment plan. And I've decided based on the information you provided today that you can't pay it right now. And therefore the option becomes community service.
Right, and so once I commit, last question, once I complete community service, it's no expunge for that theft.
I can't give you legal advice about an expunction because I can't represent you. I can tell you that it would zero out your balance.
Okay, I have an attorney, so should I just talk to him about that?
I mean, again, I can't give you legal advice about it. The conviction's been entered, and I
Okay.
don't know under, the expunction statute. In fact, I was reading it yesterday. It's about 2.5 pages long, a very fine print. And I do used to do that when I was, working as a private attorney, but I'm not one now. And I can tell you that it's not a simple question, and I'm not legally allowed to give you advice about it. I'm just not allowed to do that.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So what I'm doing though is sorting out your sentence, which was payment, and now it's shifting to community service, 47 hours, due March 21st. And you're coming by today by noon to sign one document and pick up all the papers that you'll need in order to know where you can go to do it and know where, how to track your hours. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
I'm Miss Horner. I'm here
Yes.
with my husband, Mr. Horner.
Yes. Yes.
He has cancer and he has an appointment at the doctor today.
Yes.
So is there any way he can go ahead and talk to you about his situation? I mean, he didn't mean to do whatever they said he done. My husband don't never do nothing. He ain't never been in trouble. He's a retired veteran. And I mean, this is really got him disturbed. He cried, been crying for the last 2 days, and he's 75 years old and never had a ticket, never been in trouble.
Right. Hold on. You're repeating yourself, and I need to stop you for a minute. Okay. You're actually next to talk to the prosecutor, and he just popped back up in the meeting. Mr. Matson, are we moving forward with the Martinez case? Can I move her back over?
You can, Your Honor.
Okay, let's do that one. And then actually y'all are next, ma'am, with Mr. Horner. So hang on just a moment, because the person you want to talk to is the prosecutor.
Thank you.
And we're about ready to do that anyway.
A few moments later.
Alfonso Horner, Bruce, I think is the name that is on the screen. He is ready to talk to you with his daughter, I want to say. And so,
I'm his
oh,
wife.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They want to share their information with you. So I'm going to move them over to that meeting with you. Where are we with regard to this case?
Your Honor, this case will also be dismissed.
Okay. Can I do that with a regular motion?
You can.
Mr. Horner? And
Yes.
ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. I'm dismissing that charge. I can email a copy to the email that we used. Will that work for y'all?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you. Let's see.
We just moved to this town about 6 months ago, and it's kind of new.
Okay. Well, welcome to the community, and you'll get there.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Y'all take care. Hi, Miss Singh. Hi, Miss Singh. I'm Judge Person. Can you unmute for a moment? Okay. Are you driving?
No, I just dropped my son off at school. Sit down, Skirt. I had to drop my son off at school. He had a doctor's appointment this morning. It was an important it was a mental health doctor's appointment. So,
Okay.
and it took a little longer than we expected.
I'm just making a note. Okay. You're in a queue, and you will be seen. You can't drive on the meeting,
Okay.
but I will keep you to be seen instead of having your case go to warrant, which is what we just decided. So I'll shift gears.
Okay.
Okay, so just wait.
Yeah, I just looked at the time and was like, oh my gosh.
Thank you. Just wait patiently. We'll be with you, but I need to move something around for a moment, and it doesn't include that. There's a lot of interference on your connection. Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to Ms. Singh's case?
Your Honor, Ms. Singh is going to be placed on deferral. There will be the 120-day period with a driver safety course due by day 60. And she said that she can make payment of the full amount within 30 days.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, ma'am, I can email that to you, and you can print it and sign it and email it back, or you can swing by the court and we can print it, sign it here, and get you a copy. Which will work best for you?
The email.
Okay, can we use the email that we used to set up this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we will send that to you pretty shortly. We're kind of caught up here, so that shouldn't be long. And just we want to get it back today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yesterday, teen court, 4 cases instead of 5, and it went till 7. So I'm glad it wasn't 5. They were complicated. We had a student who fell asleep at the wheel, completely intoxicated.
Oh no.
And got lucky that somehow when she fell asleep, she pressed the brake, because otherwise she would have rolled onto the train tracks.
Jeez. It's like something out of a movie.
It really was. And yeah, well, and you're allowed to, but it was a very interesting case. They maxed her out even though she was spunky and nice, but it was scary. And then we had a student that and they're all going to remain nameless, but we had a student who I just felt like was just lying, and the jury fell for it. They kind of lightened up on her sentence, but I mean, I felt like it was complicated enough that the jury probably wasn't understanding how complicated it really was.
Mhm.
It was interesting because, and I think the officer was kind of okay with the result because he didn't want to ruin her life, but it was a possession charge. And I mean, it was paraphernalia. That's what we get. But like, he could have totally taken her to juvie because she had usable quantities. That was interesting. And then there was a traffic accident that was actually, my gosh. I mean, once I thought, okay, a little accident. No, I mean, it was a miracle. Nobody died. Just miraculous. And even the officer was like, when I walked up on it, I expected casualties.
Mhm.
So the damage was like totaled, front of the car in the back seat kind of thing. And then the final one was actually very interesting. It was like a thing that started on social media and then turned into in the school, and a lot of like bullying of an autistic kid. So I had the Tamara students just take that case on both sides, which honestly, when they got into those facts, they didn't want to prosecute him because they all felt like really identified with it. But
Mhm.
the jury went with him, I think in part because the dad had punished him so severely at home. I mean, it was kind of severe for what happened because, he was just walking down the hall and the other kid came up, left a cubicle and went out to find him, caught up behind him, got right up in his face, and he pushed him back and it just turned into a fight.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of evidence of like, they started at the beginning of school. There was a new principal who wasn't really kind of aware of all the things. She was cool enough. She showed up and like really was interested in that kid and like showed up for that kid, which was, we don't usually see that. Like we weren't even prepared to question her because, that normally doesn't happen. It was late Belton and I was really pleased. And she loved the program. She was pretty excited about
That's
it.
good. That's encouraging.
That one took a while and it was our lighter sentence and I thought it was the right result, but Joaquin was prosecuting and he just hated it. He asked all the really hard questions and he kind of did it with conviction. And later he was like, Mom, I went and apologized to him. And I said, I get it. But, that's the point is you do a real good job. And then the jury tells you what they think about it. That's
Mhm.
if everybody does a bad job, then nobody knows if it was just a bad job. If everybody does a good job, they know the jury reached the right result. So it was cool. It was interesting, but boy, were we tired. I mean, because after that, I go to the Tamara kids have a sleepover and we process everything that happened and their role and what could have happened and what might have been better, what went really well. And we have a meal together and they sleep over at this one kid's house. And that mom is like amazing. And she makes breakfast for them the next morning and gets them to school. And I meet her at the school and make sure we transition them. And by the time I got home, it was 9. And I sat down on the couch and woke up at 11 and crawled to so it was a long night, but it was really interesting. And our officers were uniquely, I mean, I think sometimes they're tired and they just feel like, I have to sit through this too. It's not that they don't like it or care, but it's just one more thing.
Right.
And we had really engaged officers this time. They were wonderful. And Officer Parker too, he did a really good job of kind of bringing them in, making it more social for them. So that I think felt really good for all of them. So it was neat. It was neat. But 2 of the 4 cases, they could have gone up on higher charges. And the officer got a sort of input that these weren't bad kids and sort of said, oh, I don't want to run everything about their future, and didn't do it. So it was kind of interesting. It was more interesting than usual. So
That sounds interesting. I'm glad it was a good one.
yeah, we'll hope to see you soon on that. But
Me too.
I guess this is it for the week, and then we'll see you Tuesday. And then we have that animal hearing next Thursday.
Mhm.